right, more developments tonight in our quest to get to the truth, hold those that abuse their power accountable, that were corrupt. By the way, because according to a newly declassified study, a controversial NSA program that spied on Americans' phone calls, their text messages, has yielded little results. This report by investigative reporter Jon Solomon, former head of the FBI's Communications Analysis Unit, retired Special Agent Bassem Youssef, says that the program was likely used for politically motivated surveillance, drew parallels to FISA abuse against Carter Page and then candidate Trump and transition team Trump and then President Trump. Here to explain more to Jon Solomon himself. Jon, this is a huge story.
It is. And if it sounds a little familiar, it's because back in 2018, Sean, you and I first highlighted this issue when I first interviewed Bassem Youssef a couple years ago. And it was the first time we heard from anyone in official FBI world that this program was an empty calorie program. It was a sugar pill. It found no terrorism leads, but it was spying on Americans. But Bassem Youssef went a lot further today, saying, not only did I tell James Comey this in 2014 and Andrew McCabe, and they refused to fix it, they refused to change it. I fear after I retire, this program was used to target Donald Trump and to commit political espionage during the 2016 election. That's a really significant claim from a man that oversaw this program for more than a decade.
Unbelievable. We're going to get to the bottom of this, Jon Solomon. Do you have faith in Durham and Barr that all of, well, we've had vindication with the IG report. I think we get all of it. Because I do have confidence. I think they're doing a deep dive. It's taken a little longer than I would like.
Yeah, well, listen, when you're going through the bureaucracy, you're going to hit a lot of bumps. Yeah. But here's what I think we will get a full accounting. I'm not sure that we're going to get many indictments, if any. But I do think we'll get a full accounting from John Durham, and there'll be more abuses than we know now.
All right, Jon Solomon, thank you tonight. Also, with key provisions of FISA set to expire next month, Democrats are threatening to sink the entire reform efforts unless certain changes are met. They're to explain House Intelligence Committee ranking member. He's the one that told us the truth while the congenital liar Adam Schiff lied to the American people. Devin Nunes, Congressman Jim Jordan is with us. Devin, we'll start with you. All right, we know where we are in all of this. One question I ask everywhere I go, and that is, we know there was premeditated fraud committed against the FISA court. It's a fundamental. They did it to spy, take away Carter Page's rights, spy on a campaign, a transition team, and president. Why don't we go for the low-hanging fruit? Why is that taking so long?
One thing that I tell the American people every time that I speak and I go out on the road and I talk to people is that, remember, the deep state here is much worse than even I thought it ever was. And so people have to remember that this is 1 yard in a cloud of dust. You have to wake up every day to fight, because the socialist left, they've worked hard to take over the Democratic Party. They've worked hard to get Bernie Sanders in the lead. They're not going away. And that's one of the reasons why I've started defendusa.com, because people ask, how can we help? Well, look, we've got to take the House back. And if you go to defendusa.com, you can learn how you can help, because this is going to be very hard fought. Even if Bernie Sanders is their nominee, they've got the media on their side, Sean. It's not going to be easy. They've got Bloomberg and all his money. I mean, he talked about how he bought some congressional house seats.
If the American people want this all to end, and all the impeachment, and Ukraine, Russia, never ending, they haven't done a single thing for the American people. Jim Jordan, let me go to the heart of what this agent is saying, that in fact he fears this program is so flawed that it is allowed to give Americans a false sense of security and is spying on all of us. Now, you add that to the premeditated fraud on a FISA court. Now we know it all happened.
Yeah, and this is why we need reform, Sean. Remember, they spied on 4 American citizens associated with the presidential campaign. As you've said many times, they went to the FISA court, they misled the FISA court, lied to the FISA court 17 times. But the main reason we need to reform the FISA process and make reforms to this whole area of the law is because it can happen again. Remember, 2016 was an election year. That's what they did in 2016, what we just talked about. This is 2020. They can do it again. Because remember what happened 2 weeks ago. They went, and the intelligence community goes and briefs Adam Schiff and people on Capitol Hill, but they didn't tell the president what they were going to tell folks on Capitol Hill. And as it turns out, what they conveyed to Mr. Schiff, which he then leaked, what they conveyed to Mr. Schiff was accurate. So it can happen again. That is why it is so critical at this time we reform the FISA modernize the process and reform the
Exit
area of
question.
the law.
Do you both have faith that Durham and Barr will get the job done completely? Very different from what the Inspector General did. They can convene a grand jury, charges can be brought. Do you have faith, Jim Jordan, Devin Nunes, that in fact that job will get done and we will have equal justice and equal application of our laws?
Yes, I do, Sean. Here's why it's so important. Number one question I get is, when is someone going to jail? When are people going to be held accountable? So I think they will get that job done.
Devin?
I agree, Sean. I think that the Attorney General Barr knows that there won't be a Republican left in this country that trusts the FBI or the Department of Justice if people aren't brought to and held accountable. So I think he knows that's got to happen. I think Durham knows that's got to happen. And American people know that's got to happen.
All right, thank you both. When we come back, Kennedy Investigation Project Veritas released a new video exposing ABC News. Tape is so damning, the network suspended a veteran Washington reporter. We've got the tape. Laura Trump is here tonight to react to that and much more straight ahead.